My name is Richard Sidney Boyd, but I go by Rich Boyd as my nom de plume. And I'm a retired, semi-retired painter, colored pencil artist, and I'm enjoying my third dream job. Well, I'm an old school craftsman. I like realism. I think those are the skills that are kind of missing in a lot of art today. Value control is a very important part of my art, and understanding form through value and light. That's, I think every artist talks about light and how we perceive light. I work in oils primarily. That's has the most longevity. And I like colored pencil well because it also gives you tremendous control. Colored pencil can also be dissolved and applied with a brush, or you can create little circles with a sharp pencil point and mix it with 2 or 3 different colors to add a lot of interest to the palette. My subject matter is primarily from growing up in Tucson, Arizona, and I was fortunate to be a member of the Tucson, Arizona Boys Chorus when I was 10 and 11. And we traveled around the country. A lot of our songs were Western songs that were performed by the Sons of the Pioneers, and that's part of who I am. I'm kind of a Southwestern guy, and I like the cowboy heritage. It's one that's going away, but I think it needs to be preserved. I'm particularly fond of Rembrandt and Vermeer, of course, and they're classic. They're the greats. The more modern artists that I enjoy, James Reynolds and Bill Anton, those guys are part of the Western heritage that you see at the Cowboy Hall of Fame or at the Autry. Those guys are magnificent. They're more impressionistic than I am. I tend to get a little tighter, but I wish I could paint like they do. They can do more things with one brushstroke than I could do in an hour. One of the most common questions I get is, how long did it take you to do that? And you know, it's a difficult thing to answer sometimes because I don't keep track of the hours that I put in. But I typically say, well, after 8 years of college art training, I spend about 100 hours on a painting. The time passes so pleasantly, and I lose track of time. I want to provoke people to look at the painting more than just a casual glance, and I want them to ask themselves that same question. Why was this painting created? The painting of my son the title is Aces and Eights, and that's what he's holding in his hand as a poker hand. And that's the hand that Wild Bill Hickok was holding when he was shot in Deadwood, South Dakota. And the portrait of my son is that moment before the violence, where he's anticipating something that's going to happen. So I'm hoping the viewer is provoked to ask the same question. What's going on here? That painting, The Two Gentlemen on the Horse, is called Sunrise on the Wind River Range. I went to a National Geographic photo workshop in Du Bois, Wyoming in 2013, and we got up at 5 a.m. to see the sunrise. And those two gentlemen were on horseback, and they made a great subject for that painting. That's my friend John. I've known John for 35 years. He's a retired Caltrans electrician. But when I asked him to put on a cowboy hat and pose for me, he was happy to do it. And it's sort of a tribute to our long-term friendship. The portrait of my son is an oil painting on a gessoed board. And the interesting thing about this particular painting is there are transparent glazes that build up over a period, and the glaze has to dry for a day before you can put another glaze on top of it. But it allows you to create a nice depth and also a nice realism as well. The first pencil portrait that I did was a pencil portrait of my wife when she was 21. We've been together for 40 years. I've been blessed to have a wonderful wife, and the title of that piece is called Pretty Ponderer. It was a Best of Show award winner at the Anaheim Artists Guild show. Projects that I want to do are just to continue to record the cowboys and horses and landscapes. My dream would be to become a member of the Autry's Western Artist Master Show someday. I expect to be rejected a few times before I'm accepted, but I'll keep working at that. And I hope to be holding a brush or a pencil in my hand right up to the very end.